Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ellie. On this channel, I cover topics all about personal growth, healthy habits, routines, and so much more. So if that's something that appeals to you, make sure you subscribe to this channel because I have a lot of content that you're going to love. In this video, I want to talk about 5 different ways that you can get out of a slump or a rut. I know that for me, there's times where I have really good and solid weeks. So for example, I can go a whole 2 or 3 weeks feeling good on top of the world and like I can achieve anything, and then that's followed by these little time periods of me being in a slump and feeling like I don't have motivation to do anything. I question my choices and my goals and my dreams, and I just feel like I'm in the gutter, I'm in the slumps, and it's really hard to get out of that. But I want to share several things that have helped me to just jump back up out of that slump quicker and just feeling better about myself. And I do want to go ahead and start off by mentioning that if you think that whatever you're experiencing is deeper than just mild sadness or a slump, if you feel like you may be experiencing severe depression, make sure to talk to a therapist about that or a professional. These tips that I'm going to share today do not at all replace the help that you would receive from a professional if that is what you need. With that being said, the first thing that will really help you get out of your slump is to give yourself grace. You have to understand that hitting these little rock bottom moments or these slumps, these ruts are normal and they do happen to everyone. You have to trust that this moment, this circumstance, this feeling is going to pass and everything is going to be okay. It's 100% normal to not feel motivated all the time. We have to be sure that we're being gentle and kind to ourselves in these very vulnerable moments because we don't want to make matters worse. Giving yourself grace will really present this opportunity which allows you to be still and to do nothing and to be okay with that. Approaching our slump with this softness and gentleness will really give us an opportunity to listen to our bodies, because if we're feeling low, if we're feeling sad, that is our body trying to tell us something. That is our mind and our soul trying to tell us something. So if we just meet ourselves where we're at, then we're more likely to provide that headspace required to reflect on our feelings. Which brings me to number 2. Another way to get yourself out of a slump or a rut is to reflect. We really want to reflect on why we may be feeling unmotivated. And again, this idea of trying to understand what our mind, our body, and our soul are trying to tell us. So asking ourselves why we're feeling this way. Is it because we are experiencing burnout? Is it because maybe we're doing things with our life that we don't enjoy? Or maybe it's because we are playing the comparison game and we are comparing our lives to the life of others. Or maybe it's because we are not being healthy. We aren't engaging in the physical exercise that will help us feel good and better about ourselves. Or maybe we are not eating the appropriate foods that generate that energy for us. So it's really important to just reflect and take a holistic approach and ask ourselves what different aspects of our life are looking like and try to gain insight as to where that slump, that feeling, that trigger is coming from. So for example, in a previous video that I posted about slow living, I talk about how in our society we are so consumed by hustle culture, and that in turn may lead us to believe that we need to be generating massive results all the time. I also talk about how this way of living, which is how I used to live and I still do sometimes, how this can lead to massive burnout because it just is not a sustainable approach to our lives. I will go ahead and link that video down below if that is something that you're interested in exploring more of. In another video I posted, I talked about activating our feminine energy. In that video, I talk about how we are typically operating in our masculine energy. A lot of things that our society values are things that require our masculine energy to be heavily involved. So for example, as I mentioned, hustle culture, success, money, and career. So this constant operating in our masculine energy can lead to imbalances in our feminine energy. As I talk about in that video about femininity, there are several signs that may indicate that our feminine energy is unaligned or imbalanced. Some of those signs include feeling disconnected or unaligned with our purpose. Therefore, we probably feel deeply unsatisfied and unfulfilled. Other signs are that we are constantly feeling burnt out, stressed, overwhelmed, and this is because we are overworking ourselves and not allowing ourselves to engage in rest or play. So we really need to take the time to reflect and ask ourselves these questions as to why are we feeling unmotivated and unfulfilled. And something that will really help you is to go ahead and write it out in your journal. Just jot down your thoughts, explore what you're feeling, and explore where it can be coming from. A third way in which you can get yourself out of a slump is to connect with your closest relationships. It is very important that when we are feeling unmotivated and sad and unfulfilled, that we reach out to people that we love and to not isolate ourselves. If you're anything like me, as soon as I'm feeling kind of sad, I tend to just isolate myself and create like a little cave for myself in which no one can come in and I can't come out of. And I really have made an active effort these last couple of months to reach out to others. I know that sometimes it may seem intimidating if you're anything like me to just pour your feelings onto others, but something that really has helped me ease into me getting comfortable with sharing my feelings is to send voice messages. I usually start out by reaching out to a friend and just saying hello, and then I take that chance to be vulnerable and just share like, hey, I'm feeling this way. I'm not entirely sure why, but I just really want to share with someone because I don't want to keep it all to myself like I usually do. Oftentimes, this is enough for me to feel alive again and like there are people there for me, because guess what? There are people there for you. We just need to learn how to reach out and be comfortable with being vulnerable. If I am in a super deep slump that will require more of someone else's energy to get me out of there, then I definitely go out of my way to actually meet up with that person. So I put aside my discomfort and I just make time with a friend or a loved one to really talk about what it is I'm going through. So again, if you're anything like me, it might be a little bit hard to reach out to others, but we have to remember that we are not alone and that we can't create that isolation for ourselves. If we don't tell people what we're feeling, people aren't going to know. So really make an attempt to reach out and send that voice message or make that phone call or FaceTime or physically meet up with someone is going to benefit you in so many ways, because you will get out of your slump sooner. And also a reminder that you do not have to do this alone. It really takes a village, and practicing reaching out is going to benefit you in more ways that you can imagine. Another way that you can get yourself out of a slump is to carry out very small tasks followed by a small reward. So the idea here is that you want to build momentum. Usually it's really hard to go into a big task because it seems daunting, we're not motivated, we don't want to do it. But if we start with very small mundane tasks, they get the ball rolling and they get us into that state of action that can then leak into other areas of our lives, and therefore leading to us getting after the other goals that we have set out. So for example, next time that you're in a slump, do little things such as brushing your teeth, washing your face, taking a shower, making your bed, doing your laundry. You can wash a couple of dishes or load the dishwasher. Something that really helps me is to clean an area of my home. So for example, my office or my room. So again, any small task that is going to get the ball rolling. And then after you complete that small task, make sure to reward yourself. So for example, maybe you decide, hey, I'm going to clean my room because it's looking a little bit chaotic. And after you do that, maybe you can just take a break and not really do anything else for that day. Or maybe you can make yourself a little snack or watch an episode of your favorite show. So again, we really want to start with small actions and then reward ourselves so that we are, in a sense, tricking our mind to want to do more of that task. And slowly we are going to get the ball rolling enough and build enough momentum that we can take on larger tasks. But again, you have to meet yourself where you're at and understand that this is just temporary. You're going to get out of the slump, and right now doing what may otherwise seem as the bare minimum, like that is fine, that is enough. So a fifth way that you can get yourself out of a slump is to take yourself on a date. So there are 3 components here. The word date indicates that this is something that you're going to get dressed up for. So make sure to do that. Put on a nice outfit, do some light makeup, do your hair. The second component is that you need to get outside of your home. And the third component of this date is to go somewhere that you actually enjoy. So again, you're in a slump, so don't go crazy here if you feel like that's uncomfortable. Keep it simple. Go to the park, go get boba, go to your favorite coffee shop. The idea here is that you're doing something for yourself. You're going to be out in the world, around people. You're going to be out in nature. This is a great exercise to just step outside of your initial comfort zone, which is your home, to be exposed to other people and humanity, and to remind yourself that your immediate space isn't the only thing that exists, and that there is a whole world out there. A lot of times all we need is to just be outside, surrounded by nature. Sometimes all we need is to step outside our immediate environment. So there you have it, 5 different ways that can help you get out of a slump. I know that when you're in a slump, the last thing you want to think about is doing things. You just want to sit there and sulk in it, and that is okay. But at one point we have to really make an effort to get ourselves out of there, because we deserve to be out of that slump. We deserve to go back to our normal, happy, motivated self in due time. I hope that was helpful. I hope that you liked this video. If you did like the video, go ahead and like the video and make sure you subscribe to my channel. Like I mentioned in the intro, I love to cover concepts that are going to help you and help me improve our lives. So make sure to go watch my other videos while you wait for me to post a new one. I will see you in the next one. Bye.